Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another GTA Online car review video. My name is Saintsfan, and today the Ocelot Jugular was released. A brand new four-door sports car. We haven't received one of these in quite some time, so in this video we're going to be putting it through its paces to see if it is truly the #1 four-door sports vehicle. Now, as always with these car videos, let's go ahead and start with the price and the customization. The price of this vehicle is $1.225 million. So it is pretty dang expensive when you compare it to other sports vehicles, especially some of the other four-door sports vehicles. But I will say, for that price tag, you do get a decent amount out of this vehicle. #1, you actually get a pretty dang good looking car. At least in my opinion, I think this is a really nice car, apart from one thing which I'll show you guys, and I just don't understand why Rockstar do things like this. But just the overall looks of it, I don't exactly know what it's based off of specifically. I think this is Ocelot, so I believe it is based off of a Jaguar car in real life. And it just has a pretty nice look about it. At least with the four-door cars in the game, it definitely is up there with most of them as far as looks go. Now, customization-wise, you don't really get a whole bunch, unfortunately. I'll just quickly sort of go through all the customization. And as I go through some of these options, you do notice that there's just not a whole bunch here. Like the bumper options, there's only a couple, and they're very, very kind of minor things. Exhaust, same thing. The fenders, the grill, the hood, there's not a whole bunch. Although what is interesting and somewhat unique regarding this car is the fenders. So the fenders are sort of bolted on, and you can't actually remove those bolts. You can make them maybe look less there, if that makes sense. Like you can definitely put a lighter color paint job so you don't see them as much, but you can't really remove the fenders. So that's something just to note. It does have some interesting liveries. I'll say that you can sprunk it out, like atomic it out, throw some of those on. There is a somewhat anime livery, although it's not really like an anime girl livery like we've seen on some of the other vehicles Rockstar have added. Liveries are okay though. The primary and the secondary color is very weird. The primary is like the whole car, then the secondary is the roof. The interior color is kind of cool though, because it's almost a two-tone scheme. You have your main color, obviously, as you're seeing, and then you have like this white color, which, at least to my knowledge, you can't actually change. So you're definitely gonna want to pick a color that does go with the white. But the paint jobs it's all right. And as far as everything else goes, again, it's almost just, it's all right. Like there are some somewhat decent spoiler options. There's actually a way to remove the spoilers completely, which I'll talk about here in a minute. But overall customization is probably maybe a little bit below average, honestly. I think most people's cars are going to look very similar to each other's. So you should just maybe know that. Now, some of the other sort of unique parts. Here's the interior first-person view. Like I said, I really do like the interior on this vehicle. I mean, you can't really see the dials so much, but I love the sort of two-tone, the red in my case, and then the white. And, you know, the interior is just, it's not terrible. This is a four-wheel drive vehicle, so that's going to be awesome for acceleration purposes, as you'll see when we get to the performance tests. Then I want to talk about these stock rims. Unfortunately, you cannot actually color the stock rims. So if anyone was wondering, I like the look of them, but they are the way they are. You can't make them like black or anything. And then I was just talking about spoiler options. There is a way to remove the spoiler. Not legitimately. You have to do like this really weird trick. I'm not entirely sure how it works. You can maybe Google it if you want to know how to do it. But there is a way to remove the spoiler. I mean, you can just see this is what it looks like without the spoiler. I believe the way to remove it is by like buying the last option and then like quickly switching between that last option and the first option. It's kind of a complicated little thing. But again, I just wanted to say there is a way to remove it. Now, I was mentioning earlier that this car looks good apart from one thing, and that's the engine. You never want to pop the hood on this vehicle. You never want to lose the hood on this vehicle. I don't know what the hell this engine is from. This is from like 2001. The textures absolutely look terrible on this engine, and that kind of threw me off for a second there. But overall, as far as all this other stuff goes, like I said, it's not terrible, but it's not great. Now the performance. This is what everyone wants to know. Is this the best four-door vehicle? We have the other three here. On the top left, we have the Schafter V12, and that's actually the fastest four-door vehicle in the game at the moment. Not many people know that, but that is actually the fastest. Top right, we obviously have the Sultan OG. That car just is amazing for driving around. And then the bottom right, we have the Neon, I believe it's called. It's the electric four-door, crazy fast acceleration. And then the bottom left, we have our new vehicle, the Jugular. And right off the bat, look, the Neon, that thing is just a beast when it comes to acceleration. The Sultan also is not bad when it comes to acceleration, because the Sultan, the Neon, and the Jugular all have four-wheel drive. The Schafter V12 is the only one that doesn't. But the Schafter V12 has a way higher top speed. I don't know if you can see, but it almost hit about like 130, I believe, on the top speed. But our brand new Jugular, it is the new winner. I actually saw it hit about 134, 135 as far as top speed. And that actually puts it at the fastest four-door vehicle, at least out of the sports vehicles here. So we have the new fastest four-door sports car in the Ocelot Jugular. So if you are looking for the best of the best sports car that has four doors, so you can obviously drive your friends around, the Jugular is now number one. Now, the benefit of the V12, it has a little bit of armor. It can take like one explosion, so you got that. But I don't really like the look of the V12, so honestly, for all intents and purposes, the Schafter V12 is no longer the king. The Ocelot Jugular is the vehicle you want if you're looking just for raw performance. And if you were paying attention, it kind of smoked the other two. The Sultan and the Neon, it was not even close between those. So the Jugular is what you're going to want to drive around in. But speaking of driving around in, that's where things get a little more complicated, because while this is the newest fastest four-door sports car, its handling is going to take some time to get used to. I will say the brake, like using the actual brake in this car, is almost useless. I swear it never did like anything for me. If you do want to turn while going somewhat fast, you are going to have to use the handbrake, and that's not terrible. You are going to have to just learn it. It's not as easy as some other cars. It does have some slide to this vehicle, so it can be a little fun drifting around, but it is just going to take some time to sort of master that truly. I believe it does have those handling flags that we always talk about, because when we take it over this strip right here, you can see it does start bouncing. Now, you're not going like crazy fast, so you might be able to control it, but just know driving it around, you are going to be going up in the air on certain points. And we actually did lose control there at the end. So that is something just to note. This, I would almost equate it to the Italy GTO of the four-door sports car category. Like, it's the fastest. However, it's just kind of crazy, and it might be pretty hard to control. But that's up to you to decide. Like I said, for $1.2 million, you are getting the new fastest four-door sports car. So if you're looking for that specifically, then I think you got to buy it. It doesn't look bad. It's just kind of something that your vehicle is not going to look real unique. But overall, I would say it's not a terrible purchase. Thank you all for watching. Let me know in the comment section, are you picking up this vehicle? And how often do you actually drive four-door vehicles? I'm still waiting on the four-door supercar one of these days. But until then, this is your best bet. Thank you all. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one.